Happy Wednesday, Stampers! It's time for another What's She Making Wednesday. And today we're going to be featuring the Irresistible Blooms collection, the stamps, dies, and our Hello Irresistible paper, designer series paper. And these are all on the low inventory list. So if you've got to have them, you don't want to wait because these are hot sellers right now. They're part of our online exclusives, which is kind of like limited edition. And so they are going fast. So I thought, oh my gosh, I have to show you this before they are gone. So we're going to make a fun fold card using these today. So let me set these aside. And I'm going to pull in my paper trimmer. So we'll go ahead and open that up. And we're going to bring in first a piece of soft seafoam paper. So I'm going to share the dimensions, but if you would love to receive these dimensions in your inbox for free, every week I do a weekly buzz bulletin and I share all the supplies I use, the video, and the measurements typed out. So if you want that, go ahead and scroll below and click to subscribe. So we're going to go ahead and cut this first at 5 1/2. 5 1/2, and we're going to cut it again at 4 1/4. So this is going to be kind of the back of our card base. So we'll set that aside. Okay, and then we're going to bring in a piece of basic white, and this one we are going to cut at 8 by 5 1/4. Okay, now we're going to flip it and we're going to score it at 4. So halfway, we're going to score it down the middle at 4. So we've got that score line. So now we're going to turn it this way and we're going to actually cut off 3/4 of an inch of each side of just the top portion. So we're going to measure 3/4 of an inch and we're going to cut it down to that 4 line. Then we're gonna go ahead and flip it over. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna cut 3/4 of an inch off down to that 4-inch mark. So we've got kind of these two pieces. And we'll just go ahead and close up our trimmer here. We're gonna bring in our paper snips. You can use your trimmer for this as well, but what I find is it's easier to just snip it right below. So we're actually gonna snip off this score line on each side. So we've got that. One side. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing on this side. So now we have our card, the top of our card base that we'll fold. Okay, so then we're gonna bring in some of that Hello Irresistible designer paper. So this is what I've picked for today's. Goes really well with our soft seafoam. It's one of the colors in this paper. The back is so pretty as well. But we're just gonna use this fun printed side and we are actually going to cut this at 3 1/2 by 3 3/4. And this is gonna then become this top piece of our base here. Okay, so I'll set my trimmer aside and let's go ahead and put some of this together. So we're gonna use my favorite, our green glue, our liquid adhesive, and we're gonna go ahead and adhere this. There it goes. We're just gonna adhere this to our soft seafoam base. And we'll just center that right there. Perfect. And then we're gonna take our designer paper, we're gonna adhere that to the top flap here. Almost time for a new glue. Good thing I have a stock of it. I always say you don't want to run out of that, so it's good to have a few spares, right? Don't want to be in the middle of a project and run out. That would be no fun, right? Okay, so we've got that adhered, ready to go. And then I've already stamped, where are my stamps? Here are my stamps. So I've already stamped this leaf here because this goes really well with the leaf in the designer paper. So I have already stamped and die cut using our dies, and 3 of the colors that coordinate. So our soft seafoam, our lost lagoon, and our pretty peacock. So we will use those here in a second. But first we're gonna do some vellum and basic white punching. So we're also using some punches today. So the first one we're gonna use is our decorative circle punch with our vellum. So I love the look of vellum. So we're just gonna go ahead and punch one of these circles from our vellum and set that aside. And then we will punch from our 2-inch circle in our scrap of basic white, one of those circles as well. And we'll set that aside. Okay, then we're gonna bring in our paper trimmer real quick with that scrap that we had from before, and we're going to go ahead and cut this at 4 inches by 1 inch. Perfect. Okay, so this piece is actually going to decorate the inside of our card here. So we're just going to take a little bit more of that adhesive. You could even flip and use the other side if you want. I'm going to go ahead and use this, the same print side, and I'm just lining this up with the edge of that flap. Perfect. So then you can write your message right in there. Okay, so now let's put our card together. So we're gonna use our liquid glue. We're also gonna use some of our mini glue dots. And then we'll do one more little bit of stamping. So the first thing we're gonna do is use our leaves here that I've already stamped and die cut. And we're going to make kind of like a half circle along our top flap here. So you can just alternate these. That's what I'm gonna do here. I'm just gonna kind of alternate these in the colors. So our soft sea foam, our lost lagoon, our pretty peacock. All I'm gonna do is just keep layering them. I have some of these fun die cuts. These are from the dies. These kind of intricate pieces, we'll call them. Those are fun. And we'll just keep going till we make, I like it to be full, so I could put them kind of close together, but you could spread them out certainly. Perfect. A couple more here. So our pretty peacock. There we go. So we'll go ahead and let that dry, set that aside. And then we will bring in our pretty peacock with our white die cut circle that we used. Open this up, and from our stamp set, we're gonna use the Hooray, It's Your Day. So this could be a celebratory card, it could be a birthday card, so many things. So we're gonna go ahead and use that sentiment. Already got it here. So we'll go ahead and ink that up and stamp that right down onto our punched circle there. And then we are going to first add a few of our mini dimensionals to the back, kind of in the middle of our vellum piece. don't have to worry about those showing through because we're gonna put our circle right over it. So we'll go ahead and pop off the backings of those. There we go. And we're just gonna go ahead and center this so that the vellum is a tiny bit over our half circle of leaves there. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing with our basic white circle sentiment here. You could use the regular dimensionals. I like the mini on these, just makes it a little bit more even. Okay, and then we'll center that right onto there. So you can see that vellum just kind of adds a subtle bit around that. Put that to the side. Okay, so now we are gonna bring in our soft seafoam Stampin' Right marker, and we're gonna do a little bit of flicking. So we're gonna use the brush tip end of our marker and the cap, and what we're gonna do is flick it. We're just gonna flick the end of it towards our sentiment paper here. And what we're doing is we're getting just a slight, subtle bit of ink right on our sentiment. So you can see there's kind of like a little splatter, flicking splatter of dots on there. Okay, and you know me, every card needs a bit of bling, so we're gonna use the sequins trio here. And I'm gonna pull in my take your pick tool. We're gonna use some of these Lost Lagoon sparkles, and we'll just go ahead and put a few of these around on our card. Maybe one at the top. And there we have, hooray, it's your day, with a fun, easy fold that you can send out to celebrate someone's special day. Thanks so much for watching, for liking and subscribing, for subscribing to my newsletter and sharing this video with your friends. I absolutely appreciate you. I'm so grateful. It's absolutely your day to celebrate, and I'm so glad you're celebrating with me. Have a great one. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.